Hi traders, this is Cory Mitchell at TradeThatSwing.com, and this is your swing trading stock market outlook for the week of March 10th. If you're wondering where this article is for the links or anything like that, you go to TradeThatSwing.com, stocks, stock market analysis, and trades, and that's where you'll see this updated each week. Let's keep this real brief. The stock market, not great conditions, but we are at a point where we get to see if the market is likely to go higher or lower. This is an inflection point. But there's no need to gamble on that direction. The market will tell us soon enough, and there will be an opportunity to enter if applicable. Bitcoin's broken out of its range, so I can show you how that's applying. Not that Bitcoin and the market are necessarily related, although they can be correlated. But what just happened in Bitcoin is what I'm watching for in the S&P, NASDAQ. So you'll be able to see basically what I'm talking about right here, that inflection point. Gold's in an uptrend, currently consolidating. We'll take a peek at that. Some watch lists, recently updated best swing trading stocks list for March. That's high momentum stocks to the upside and downside. Looking for longer term stocks. Once we decline and we start to improve, that can be a time to pick up some of these longer term positions. Maybe you've been eyeballing. I just updated the buy and hold stock list. I'll be updating these other ones over the next week or so. They don't usually change too much. Price action perspective on the indices. So what I'm looking at here, you can see the box I've drawn around the S&P. So we had a high here, it dropped to there. It held here. So that's enough information for me to say, even some people might not call that a range. And I don't care what they do. I'm looking at it as we've had several waves now of very similar size. This one, this one, this one, and so far this one. So we have multiple waves going up and down that are the same size, kind of, like fingers. They're just going like this. They're all the same size. To me, that says, hey, we're in a rangy period. Now, what happens here is we've dropped out of it. We're moving up at the moment. If we start rolling over in this area and start rolling over back to the downside, that is bearish. That means the price was unable to get back into this old range. It broke out and couldn't get back in. If, on the other hand, we have the pop back into the old range and then the next pullback stays within this range, so it could shoot up and then the next pullback comes back into here, that's well within the range, and then we start moving up, that's bullish. So that's what we can wait for. We can wait for that sign. And then once that market starts to turn, so, if you were looking for short trades in individual stocks, if, it kind of pulls back into here and then we start to get a couple days down, that's bearish. Look for the short trade. If we shoot back up into this old range, give it a couple days, wait for the pullback. Then once that pullback happens and we start moving up, that's when you start hitting the longs on the individual stock trades you've been looking at. Same thing's going on in the NASDAQ. It went to here, pulled back to here, went up to there, and we've broken out below it. So the next pullback, we did have a little rejection right there. So we're already kind of holding outside that range. If we hold here and keep dropping, that's bearish, looking more at the shorts. Canadian index, basically pretty much the same thing. Big range right near the bottom of it. NYSE composite holding above, but it was weaker. It didn't get to that prior high, but it's holding up a bit better. Russell 2000 looking absolutely horrible. The Bitcoin. So this is exactly what we've been talking about in Bitcoin, these types of inflection points for the last several weeks. And we get to see it play out in the S&P now. But you can see, big drop out. This is a daily chart. Moves into the range, rejected the next day, right back out. So that says we're still in bearish mode. No reason to get bullish until we get a move back up into the old range and a pullback that stays in this big box and then starts moving up. So we are patient until the moment that the market gives us a more clear motive, and then it's act quickly. And of course, if this continues to drop, that wouldn't be the only bullish signal that could occur. We could get another range here, and then those rules start to apply again, where it's like, well, if we break out, but then the price starts moving back up into that old range, that's a potentially bullish signal. But based on this, as price keeps moving, it's going to form structures after structures, and we're always analyzing those new structures as they form. Right now, this is the main one to watch, this huge range, and so far we are rejected outside of it. Gold, not much to say, nice uptrend and nice bounce. So this is, if there was one sector of the market, the gold industry is not a bad place to look if we were going to look for some trades in the stock market. Most other sectors and industries not doing as well. Market health indicators, as you can see, the S&P 500 chart. This is daily volatility, percentage movement. Big volume, or big daily movement, more associated with downtrends. Uptrends, more associated with low volatility. So currently we are bearish based on simply how much we are moving each day. This is not indicative of uptrend behavior. The NYSE advanced decline line, it is holding up near its highs while the S&P has tanked below this low. If we look at this low, the NYSE advanced decline line made a low way down here when the S&P made its low. We are way above that, while the S&P is below that low. That is a big positive divergence. That's a positive sign. This is, I can't remember the last time we had it, but they're in the, I think it was even in the Complete Method stock swing trading course, the example of this, where this shows that we are potentially in a minor correction, not a major correction. Now, this could change at some point if this starts tanking. But at the moment, this is saying we're in an overall minor correction, not a massive bear market. Up volume versus total volume, looking for extreme values. I won't go into this one because there's absolutely nothing. We want to see these little bars hitting either way up here or way down here, and they're all in the middle, so there's absolutely nothing to talk about there. And that's going to be more relevant after a 10% plus decline. We're getting there. We're about 8% down, I think, on the S&P. This is percentage of stocks above their 50-day moving average. The red is S&P 500 stocks. The turquoise bluish line is all U.S. stocks. Only 30% of all U.S. stocks are above their 50-day moving average, indicating most stocks are downtrends, going to be harder to make money on the long side. Ultimate indicator, how many quality setups there are and how trades are working. Look at your own trades, your own results, and see, if you're taking shorts and they're really working, great. If you're taking longs and they're not working, hey, that tells you something. Maybe you shouldn't be pushing it when the market's tanking. Sectors on the move, they're all pretty bad right now. Energy, probably the weakest over the 3 time frames for momentum to the downside. Upside, materials and consumer staples holding up. It's usually going to be a quieter sector, not really of interest to me at the moment. What am I doing right now? Enjoying the volatility for great day trading. No long swing trades. Shorts are potentially out there. The exception would be the opportunities. There may be some nice gold setups. In this paragraph I talk about, when market conditions are crap, there may be certain industries, and it's often the commodities, but occasionally it might be another industry as well. If it's performing really well, you could focus in on that sector and just, make a couple trades right in that sector, but you don't want to be branching out into the stuff that's falling. So these are sectors, so materials, gold's included in materials, but some of the other materials might be doing well, but we can see from the gold chart, gold and gold stocks not doing too bad. So it could maybe zero in on a couple of those if you were looking for a little bit of action, but the rest of the market pretty much off limits. Again, if you found some other industry that's doing well, you could zero in on that too. But what else? Yeah, Bitcoin's dead to me right now. It's looking a little bearish still at the moment, as we talked about. There would need to be certain things that would have to happen for me to get bullish on Bitcoin again. That's your swing trading stock market outlook for this week. Happy trading out there.